We're here to talk about platforms, and we're here to talk about the impact on banking and the incumbent response, as it were.
Yep.
I mean, just maybe to level set, in terms of definitions, for me at least, we're talking about the big US tech players, the big Chinese tech fin players, et cetera, first party, third party, financial, non-financial products. You gave a really great interview to the Straits Times a week or two ago in which you described these kind of 8 to 10 players as the nightmare scenario for incumbent banks. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Well, maybe not nightmare, but nevertheless, let me tell you what. I think the big challenge for most of the tech companies, FinTech loosely or tech fin, is not the challenge of creating a differentiated value proposition. I think it's very easy to think of better ways of doing banking, and that's why the banking value chain is being unbundled, and it's easy to unbundle.
Mm-hmm.
And for every part of the value chain, you can find a better way to do it. The problem has always been, how do you find the customer? Customer acquisition is not easy, and it is very expensive. And therefore, what most fintechs wind up doing is working with banks and enabling banks, because banks are a good way to be able to either get capital, but more importantly, get distribution reach.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't apply to these 8 or 10. If you're Amazon or Facebook or Google or Alibaba, you're already sitting on 500 million to 1 billion customers. So your cost of customer acquisition is 0. And if your cost of customer acquisition is 0, then your capacity to be able to improve the customer experience and migrate them into a better path is just dramatically different from any other kind of fintech. And therefore, as an industry, as you think about what could really dislocate our industry, it would have to be the idea that when Amazon gets into banking or ties up and creates a banking product, they have easy access to 500 million people who they can go and showcase their product to like this. That's what we need to be thinking about.
But don't these platforms themselves need banks? I mean, don't they kind of sit on top of existing banking infrastructure?
Yes. I think what banks have going for us is a couple of things. One, we are already participants in all the clearing and settlement infrastructure around the world. And therefore, every large tech fin still needs the bank to help clear and settle. So that's an obvious one. We also have a lot of knowledge about how banking works, the rules and regulations, what people are looking for. So we don't come to this battlefield unarmed. But it's also easy to see a world where we wind up becoming just the dumb pipes. And frankly, that's what happened to the telcos. That the telcos own the infrastructure, but the value at the top can be creamed off by the content providers, like Facebook or WhatsApp, etc. And so it's very easy to see a world where we just wind up being an infrastructure and being the dumb pipe, on top of which all of the consumer value either shifts to the consumer or shifts to these kinds of intermediaries. And so you need to figure a way that you can continue to be relevant to the consumer in this paradigm and not just wind up disappearing as a piece of the woodwork.